Hi, everyone. This is Marilyn Bradford, and I would like to welcome you to my Left Turn podcast. What is your left turn? Writing a blog, parenting in a different way, letting go of the old because you are aware of something greater. Left turns are choices we can all make. It's about a willingness to step into the unknown in any area of your life, to trust yourself, to risk creating or trying something new. It's about letting your true uniqueness shine. The greatest people who have lived, artists, statesmen, writers, explorers, musicians, have all been people willing to turn left. What capacities do you have that you have not acknowledged? What would your life and the world be like if you were willing to turn left? Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the Left Turn podcast. And I have a very interesting and lovely lady with me today, Kate Sarton. She is a self-care extraordinaire. I love this next part, with a dirty secret. She's also a workaholic and a perfectionist. After having her existential crisis at 17, we'll have to visit that one, she embarked on a journey to discover what was truly meaningful for her, regardless of anyone else's experience. I love that. From massage and stress management to mindset and energy shifting techniques, Kate helps people connect with themselves, the earth, and the universe, believing that life is the ultimate creative process and journey. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. I'm really excited to be here with you.
Well, I'm excited to have you. So what have been some of your favorite or biggest, or I'm looking at that crisis at 17, left turns that you've taken?
Yeah, well, it's funny, and we can totally start with the 17-year-old one for sure. But as I was looking at this podcast and the title of it and what that invites people to look at in their lives, I was like, oh, wow. Like my life has been a bunch of left turns. And it's like, it's not that I'm addicted to the left turns. It's that every time it's opened up this whole other thing that I'm like, that's the adventure of living.
Yes.
And at that time of the 17-year-old Kate, I didn't get it at the time because I was 17, but the Phoenix became a symbol for me about letting go of things because things open up to greater. And I think that's one of the things that I've just seen time and time again is that anytime I'm starting to hold on to something and how it should be, AKA that hidden perfectionism, and actually like soften and lean in and be present and get into creation, so much more becomes available than what I was trying to make it look like.
Yeah. And I like that, trying to make it look like. That's when we really limit ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I was going through some notes the other day from the certified facilitators class, and there was something that was said in there about like, you can be infinite or you can try and get it right. And I was like, oh, that is such an incredible reminder for me because there is a tempting allure to try and get it right. And not that it's wrong to try and get things right. There's just so much more that is available in that space of creation.
So what happened at 17?
Yeah, well, what's really funny is it's not like a thing, like an event occurred. There was a cracking open, and when something became unavoidable, when something just becomes so obvious in your face.
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you know what to do yet, but you're just like, oh no, like I can't unsee this. It's right here. And what I discovered, and I think it was a whole bunch of things that led to it, because at 17, I was a junior in high school. It's that very significant year when you're looking at what colleges you're applying to, and you're supposed to be deciding, or, very normally, you're supposed to be deciding like the trajectory of your life.
Yes, your future.
Yes, which as a perfectionist is if you're not clear, like some people, they have a trajectory that they're like, I'm just going to head in this direction and I know I'm going to go.
Yes.
And for me, I had so many interests. I have so many talents and skills and capacities that I was like, ah, and I was like, how do I pick one? So there was that thing that was going on. And to give you the funny example of how ridiculous that situation was, every junior was brought to talk with the guidance counselor, and you would take a test on the computer. You'd fill out this quiz, basically, let's say of 100 questions about your personality, about what you enjoyed, things that you excelled at. And it was supposed to spit out an answer at the end of like what things to go towards. The answer it spit out for me was like 2 pages long. Like it was like, you can be a teacher, you can be a marine biologist, you could go into theater, you could be a writer, and it was like, this didn't help me at all. Like, what do I do? So that was one piece of what was going on. The other piece of it was that I was checking as a good student and a good person, and I didn't even actually realize I was a perfectionist at the time. I just thought I was trying to do well. I was checking all of the boxes that you're supposed to do. I was a good student. I had straight A's. I was in the top 10% of my class without trying. I had lots of friends. I played sports. I had a job. I had after school clubs. I was on homecoming court, like all of if you had a list of like the classic American high school things, I was checking all of the boxes. And once I kind of like checked some last box, and I don't even remember what that box was, I was like, this is it. I'm not thrilled, happy, like excited about life. And if I've checked the boxes and I'm not there, and I'm being told that checking the boxes is how you lead a happy, successful life, like it became this, it's something cracked open of like, oh no. Like, what do I do now? Yeah. And so the beginning of that started as just the discomfort of like, I can't unsee this and I have no idea what to do. And then the initial left turn was just a very ungraceful, I'm going to quit everything. I'm going to stop playing sports. I'm not going to go to parties with friends anymore. Like literally, I almost like wiped the slate clean, because I realized so much of what I was choosing was based on other people's ideas of what was normal, successful, good. Not that I would have been able to like say that at the time. It was more of an intuitive, like,
you just knew it. You knew it.
Yes. And so then at 17, and I'm trying to think what year that would have been. I think that would have been 2001. Like I started doing yoga. And at that time, it wasn't trendy yet. Like there weren't yoga studios everywhere, especially where I grew up. So I took it with like 60-year-old women. It was just me and a group of 60-year-old women in this yoga class. And I started hiking more instead of doing sports, I was like, I'm going to go out in nature and hike. Like I just kind of just started choosing things that were pulling at me. And I started to realize that even though nobody else really got it, that those experiences were more fulfilling than what I'd been choosing before.
That's a beautiful example of left turn, really.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel like there was something that was popping a second ago, but I think it slipped away. Yeah. But
what are some of the other left turns that you've done that have been really influential in your life?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that, because you brought back in what the next thing that was percolating in my head was that piece of each time with the left turn, I actually didn't know a how. It was what you said. It was a sense. It was like, I just knew like there, and I can't even put words to the feeling of it. It wasn't like, oh, there was a hook behind my belly button, or, it wasn't, it was just this sense. And somehow it did also have a visceral even feeling to it, but it's kind of undescribable. I couldn't relate it to, something else.
Well, it's beyond what's considered normal in this reality.
Yeah.
You're just beyond normal, okay?
While trying so hard to do all the normal right things.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So now after, I'm 41 now. So after so many years of this, I know that sense.
Yes.
And I'm also much quicker. It doesn't always have to be the like, and I'm clearing everything out. And, it can be that too. And also it's like you start to pick up on the whispers sooner. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, what if I can just do this now and this and okay. And like, it's almost like there are smaller left turns. And then sometimes there's like a giant big left turn. So one of my other ones, which only happened like 2 years after that, was I had picked a college. Like I said, that whole thing was stressful. I didn't know what I want, but then me even attempting to get there was not lining up with what my parents wanted. So it was just like, and I've already failed and lost, and this is, and not
Right.
they were bad or evil, but just, when things are, you're not on the same page, it can feel really uncomfortable.
Yes.
Especially when you're trying to be good.
Yes. And get it right.
Yeah, because if someone is not getting it, not understanding, and they might even have some intensity around it, right? Because college costs a lot of money, right? It's like, it's about your future. So they're all significant things, like normally.
Yes.
So it's not about my parents being like bad parents, because they were like, no, you got to make a good decision here. They were trying to do their best. I was trying to do my best, but we weren't on the same page. And I was aware of that. And I was aware of the intensity. And for me, a lot of times when intensity comes up, I instantly go to, where am I wrong? Like where, instead of just like, oh, what's here? It's like very quickly into the wrongness factor. So anyway, I ended up picking a college, Stony Brook University on Long Island. And I got there and I did the same thing. I checked all the boxes, Marilyn. I had amazing suite mates and extra friends outside of that. I joined the TV station. I was a part of the recycling crew. That was my job there. I was a part of NIPERG. I was very involved, and I was doing well in all of my classes, I think, except for economics or something, because I just couldn't get myself to care. And the same thing happened where I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, this is so it's not like lighting me up. I'm just not thrilled to live. And I think one of the things that maybe makes me different is I'm willing to make a choice when I'm not, or when I feel like I'm settling, which it can be a really tricky thing to choose that, because we can make so many reasons and justifications of why we should settle. We can make the list. So with college, I was like, wow, I'm not supposed to be here at this one. And I came up with this whole plan with my best friend. We were going to leave our colleges. We were going to go to Boston and take like a semester off and work and get an apartment together and all the things. This is ready. You're going to find out how much of a perfectionist I am. I made a PowerPoint presentation to show my parents how good a plan this was, because I needed them to know I had thought about it and it wasn't just a crazy, like, get in the car and go. So I made a PowerPoint presentation, but then my friend backed out. So I still left the college and I ended up back in my hometown, which was not a part of the plan. But again, there's an amazing university actually in my hometown, Binghamton University. And so I just started taking random classes there just so I wouldn't lose credits. Like I could just so I took a dance class in the summer, and I took a yoga class, and then I took an environmental studies class and a film class. And I just started picking these things that were interesting because I had nothing to lose. And those things opened up, again, a whole other trajectory. And so I ended up diving headfirst into their film department, which was an experimental film department. So we were like shooting with literal film, painting on film, scratching on film, video installations. Like it was there were no rules. You could really create whatever you desired. And Anyway, so again, what that opened up and created was so much greater than anything I could have like
Any
controlled.
box you could have
Yeah,
checked.
exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
And after that?
Oh my gosh, we just keep having left turns, basically. I traveled across the country for a bit and lived very, very poor. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. This does not work for me. So then my next left turn was to go to massage school. It was something that had been pulling on me since actually I was 17, but it didn't quite click until that moment of like, I'm going to go and I'm going to learn something hands-on, but that's also creative. And, so I went and did that, and that was opened up this whole other thing. And then I graduated and was working and doing stuff. I left a relationship. That was another left turn, ended up in Maine. What else? And this one's really interesting for me. And I hope I have the words to kind of like get people to be able to tap into it. The next huge left turn, right at the time where I was starting to think about stress as like a really big topic to learn about, like get a skill set about, to go beyond massage, to get into mindset and everything. Right around that time, my next huge left turn was actually having a child.
Oh
and
my goodness. That's a big one.
It's a big one. And it wasn't part of the plan.
Right.
So in some ways, it was like, it seemed like the universe made the left turn for me. I mean, I know that's just a way of speaking to it. I know there's way more involved with that, and it is a creation, and there are conscious choices and other choices that are going on there. At the time, it just felt like the universe was like, you're actually gonna like, let's look over here. But I think the way that I would look at it for myself with left turn was the way I chose to be with that new
yes
journey.
That's a lot of choices.
Yeah. And there was that terrifying moment of like, this is a huge life moment. Like everything is about to change. Everything's already changing. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and I knew I was going to lean in and keep choosing it and moving forward. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself a moment, like be max 5 minutes, to grieve the life that is no longer happening. Like the choices
for you. Yes. That's a great awareness. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to give myself this moment, and like literally looked myself in the mirror and allowed myself to cry. And then I was like, okay, demand time. Literally every thought, feeling, emotion, food, energy, etc., that I experience, she is also going to experience. And so like, game on, like it is time to lean in and be really present with your life. And at the time, it might make me tear up a little. At the time, I thought I was choosing it just for her, because that's like classic giver healer. Like, I'll do it. You know what? I'm gonna revamp my life because it'll help this other person. But it actually was this huge left turn co-creation of, she was inviting me to be something. So at the time, I thought it was just about her, but then it ended up being this huge platform for leaning into my life in a new way. And it's not that I would say that to people of like, go have a kid, like it'll teach you to, it's definitely not what I'm saying. Because a lot of people lose themselves in becoming too. And it's not wrong. It's so easy to let it happen because you're putting priority on this sweet being, this potent being that's here. But for me, that was the way I chose to be with it, is like, okay, I'm moving forward with this, like gratitude, demand, joy, adventure, presence. Let's go.
Wonderful. That's really inspiring.
Thanks, Marilyn.
Yeah. And how did you find Access Consciousness?
Access Consciousness was great because I've done a lot of like career kind of left turns, like smaller things from like coffee shops, massage stuff, office assistant, etc. One of those was I was working with a fair trade jewelry company, and one of my like higher ups who was training, they did a lot of leadership training. She was like, I'm in this Facebook group. I'm getting a lot out of it. Anyone who wants to come play, come play. And I was like, I'm a lifelong learner. I'm just like, here, give me all the things. I want to know the things. How does the universe work? I'm here for it. And so, and of course, I've also just had my own personal challenges where I'm always looking for more skills, more tools of like, how can I make this better, easier, more successful, more abundant, etc. So I was like, I'm in. And so I got into this free Facebook group. And I think the first tool that I heard was, I think it was, how does it get better than this? It was either that or what else is possible now. And I remember being like, it cannot be that easy. Like, no. Like, you don't know how many things I've tried, how much schooling I've done, and like extra training. And because even with massage, you do lots of continuing education credits, and then with this, I ended up doing a stress management certification. So I was like, I have all this training. It cannot be as simple as asking a question. So I literally chose to play with the question to prove it wrong. Because I was like, I'm not going to be caught up in this. And I played with it and actually changed stuff. And I was like, that was weird. So the next week with the next question, I was like, okay, I'll show them with this one.
We'll try this again. Yes.
And then that one did the same thing where something shifted. And I was like, well, that's kind of a coincidence that it worked twice. So then I started to be like, okay, what do you got next? Like, then it became the lean in of like, okay, what else is here? And what I loved about the Access Consciousness tools was that they were a way to get out of my head in creating my life and choosing and being aware, because I'm very smart. So it's very easy to make my mind the valuable product. You combine that with the perfectionism thing, and it's just so easy to always be calculating, calibrating what's the best plan and the strategy, and not even like cognitively. It's not like I'm always making this. It just became a way of interfacing with life all the time.
Right.
Automatic response systems, do. And these tools were like, wow, that isn't the only way to function here. Like, there's actually this whole other universe. And I was familiar with energy from massage because we had different energy modalities. We did shiatsu, we did polarity therapy, we did the chakras. So like, I was familiar with energy as an energy session, like it was encapsulated into this moment. And so then not only did the tools offer a bridge out of my head, they offered a way of utilizing and being aware of energy in the creation of life, and not just for like a moment, and not just by some other expert doing it to me. Yeah.
Well, that is very cool. Well, thank you so much, Kate, for coming on today. I feel quite inspired by all of this.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. Thank you so much for joining this episode of Left Turn. I wonder what embracing left turns could create in your life. What magical possibilities might show up. Remember, when you choose left turns, you are joining a group of the most creative and brilliant people the world has ever known.